Hi, my name is Zachary Anderson, and Planned Brotherhood is non-affiliated or associated with Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood is a registered trademark of Planned Parenthood Federation of America Incorporated. Yeah, man. Suck that shit, bitch. What's up? Protest.
It must have been, it must have been, it must have been a happy time. It must have been, it must have been, it must have been a happy time. The sun would shine, the candy bars, Kool-Aid flowing like wine. The comic books, the TV shows, the bubble gum, the kitty cat.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to episode 122 of Planned Brotherhood. Just as a way of explanation here, there's going to be a break at the 9-minute mark. When that break hits, know that 2 weeks has passed since the first chunk was recorded. I guess that's it. Also, why not? Twitter.com/PlannedBrohood. Find us on Facebook. Write us an iTunes review. Is that it? Or send us an email, brotherofallpodcast@gmail.com. Enjoy the show.
That guy was a talker, huh?
Thanks for inviting me to that cigarette.
First of all, you don't admit that on the show.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess he's not technically a neighbor, but in fact, you'd never met him, obviously, before we just went out there.
Yeah.
That cigarette break, for me, ended up turning into 3 cigarettes.
Yeah.
Little context, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll let you fill this in.
I should ask you right now, do you want to, they're on their way home, do you want to do it right now? Or at least start it?
How much time do we have?
Probably 10 minutes.
Yeah, let's just get this out of the way.
Okay. Yeah, so we go outside. I've been trying to get rid of that car forever. I'm moving. I have a green car, a 96 Dodge Intrepid, which apparently is very popular in this neighborhood.
We'll leave a link for the Craigslist ad
Yeah.
in our show notes.
I had a neighbor downstairs who lives right below me tell me he wanted to buy it for $400. And then I haven't heard from him since. I never followed up on it.
How long ago was
anything like that? Maybe 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah, it was before the 1st because it was when I found out that we were getting a new apartment on November 1st, which we talked about, the Gentleman's Cavern.
Gentleman's Cavern. I don't think we called it that.
Yeah. So as of right now, there's still 2 more weeks before I go, and that guy never got back to me. I never followed up on it, so I've just been wanting to pretty much just get rid of this car. It could have $10 worth of repairs needed on it, but I've had so much shit with it before. I don't even care about the car anymore.
Although you do seem pretty strapped sometimes. What I mean by that is it kind of sucks, you and your wife having to share a car.
Yeah, but I do a ton of walking. Usually it's not an issue because I walk everywhere. It's an issue for me because I end up having to walk everywhere. But I like being able to get drunk wherever I go and not have to worry about it.
Yeah, that's always nice.
So
I haven't driven in 4 years. That's not why. So
I'm just trying to get rid of the thing. And then we go outside right now, and this guy comes up to me. I always get nervous when people are like, hey, is that your car?
Which is how he approached the conversation.
Yeah.
Hey, is that your car?
That's
from across the alley. He
right.
wasn't even close to us yet.
That's what the guy downstairs did, too. And that car's been sitting there for a while, and I'm thinking they're going to be like,
undercover.
You need to fucking move it out of the way or something like that.
I seriously thought that's where it was headed.
Yeah. But I just asked him, oh, you want to buy it? And he just tells me right up front how insanely interested he is in buying this car.
Right.
He's got one just like it. He points it out. We can see it.
You mentioned his hands are completely black.
Yeah, he just works on cars nonstop.
Yeah, and he made a point to say 11 times over, I'm a mechanic. Yeah, we could tell by all your fucking jargon that you're throwing in our face.
Yeah, but from the very beginning, I said, he's like, tell me what's really wrong with First, he's like, oh, yeah, I've heard all about your car. He talks to a guy who sold a car.
And you made a stalker joke or something, didn't you? Looking down from the window?
I said something about him doing a recon on it. But it's what he did. He knows the guy who ended up selling my downstairs neighbor a car, who heard about it from that guy.
There were phone numbers exchanged. It was a whole thing.
All this shit. And he's like, what's really... And I told him right off the bat, I said, I have no idea. I don't know anything about cars. The only thing I can tell you is it's got a brand new starter in it. That's the only thing I can tell you.
Almost right away. how are the heads? And you were honest. You said, I really have no idea
Yeah,
what you're
I
saying.
just wanted to stop it right there. and I don't know. Don't ask me any questions about it. Tell me. And I told him right off the bat, do you want to buy it? And then he just fills the time just telling me how much he wants to buy it, what he's going to do with it, and how much do I want for it. And I keep saying 300.
Right.
Just an arbitrary number I made up in my head. The guy
the other guy
downstairs-
offered you 400.
Right,
You're
was going
scaling
to do
that back.
400, yeah.
But
So-
what are you going to do if you don't get a buyer? You're going to give it up for nothing.
What I thought an hour ago is I've got to call a tow company to just come get rid of it. I'm not
Right.
going to. Right. So for free. So I'm like, yeah, $300, of course. And then
He's
now-
looking at up and down.
Yeah.
Just really quick, I think I could top this. When you went up to get the keys so that he could see under the hood, there was an awkward minute conversation between him and I, and he was telling me, he was commenting on the body of your car, and he's like, oh yeah, it's pretty straight, it's pretty solid. He says, mine's fucked. And I was like, oh yeah? And he goes, yeah, I ran into a few guardrails recently. I was on a lot of medication. Which I think tells you a little bit more about the guy. I didn't get a chance to tell you that
But
part.
a pretty handsome guy, right?
No.
I mean, kind of nerdy, but like.
He's a little small in stature, and I don't
yeah,
think girls are particularly
definitely.
into that.
But he's got sharp features. He had nice, clear skin.
Man, I really wasn't lusting over him the same way you were.
Anybody with a beard, I'm looking at.
But what are they hiding?
Yeah, so he's just looking under it, and he tells me he'd be willing to pay.
Did you say looking at her? You've assigned your car a gender.
Oh, if so, it's
It
'cause
has a
he
name,
was
doesn't
saying
it?
Down there. No, I've never named my
Old
car.
Betsy. You gonna miss old Betsy?
So he tells me, I'd be willing to pay between $250 and $300, and then I said, okay, yeah, that's fine. I'll take $250, and then the sort of caveats come in where it's like, oh, you're moving on the 31st. Yeah, I should have the money by the 1st, if not half of
Yeah,
it.
because right away when he finally gave a price and you settled on one,
Yeah.
you're like, well, I don't know when you want me to start moving my stuff out of it. Like,
Yeah.
how quick is this going to happen? And then it became clear that this guy's poor.
Yeah, then it becomes, well, I can pay you in 2 weeks, but take it off your hands tomorrow. You
Right.
know what I mean? You'll know where it is.
It's
and
right across the street.
Yeah, and he's like, you don't have to sign a title over. First of all, if
Obviously, you're not going to.
no, I am. I want it out of my name.
No, I'm saying you won't do it before you get any money passed.
No, I will. It'll be something I insist
God,
on.
I hope he's not a listener.
Is changing over the
You're-
title first. Just because he's talking about running the guardrails and shit, I'm like, I'll give it to the guy. This is the thing. I was going to give it to the tow company for free. I'm going to give it to this guy in good faith. Alvina has to agree to it, but to me...
And the title's in her name, you mentioned.
Yeah, this is a big hassle-free thing, but I don't want him doing something stupid with it, and the title's in my name because I never got money from him, which I probably never was going to anyway.
Yeah.
I want to get it over into his name.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't read any of that in your eyes.
Yeah, I mean...
I thought you were thinking the whole time, this guy's working me.
I was disappointed that I wasn't going to get the money
Right
now.
We could have had ourselves an evening.
Right, and then I'm probably going to get screwed. I'll probably never see any money, honestly. He's going to have it the day after I move.
Yeah,
I'm
'cause-
never coming back to this neighborhood the day after I move.
No, and you shouldn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, he said, yeah, I could probably have that for you on the first, or at least half, over half.
Yeah.
So he's got 2 weeks to come up with $125, and he's not sure he can.
Yeah, and
Yeah, this guy's getting a free car.
even if I get money on the first, whatever amount he gives me, I'm going to tell him we're square. Don't worry about it. We're fine. I just want this out of my
Yeah,
life.
this isn't going to end
I
up
live
in
on
like
19th Avenue now.
this isn't going to end up in what do you call it? Small times court. What is Judge Judy?
Yeah, nothing like that. This
Small
is
claims, isn't it?
yeah. This isn't Neckfurter selling a car by any means. I'm willing to get screwed here. But
I
yeah,
would never buy a car from Nick Burke.
It just
ever.
turns into such an awkward. And he just how many times
You were pretty good about it, though.
How many times do you have to tell a guy, I don't know anything about it. I don't. And then he's telling me about the Saturn and how much a head gasket kit would run, and I don't know, man. I don't.
Looks like
care.
this battery's been sitting in your trunk for a while. I'm a mechanic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you notice that I ended up wandering away the more he got in detail
Oh,
about
God.
his job? And
He was like, let me give you my number, and I go, well, I never answer the phone. Just come upstairs.
you know where I live.
Yeah.
You've been stalking me for weeks now.
Yeah. And I was like, and I was even telling him, I was like, you know, I'm going to have my kid with me, so I'm not going to be able to help you move this car at all. But if you
And you
want to
said,
move
plus
it,
I'm not very strong.
yeah. You know, I just want him to come and move it, and then if
He didn't laugh at a single one of our jokes, by
Nope,
the way.
Not
Nope.
really. Only when I said that Sophie's fishing pole was mine.
Fight, 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 fight.
If I'm not mistaken, right at the end of that first chunk there, we stopped because Alvina walked in.
Yeah, that's correct.
Walked
From
in
what
the
I
car
remember. It's
and
been a couple of weeks ago now.
told us it smelled a lot like pot.
Yeah, and then the show was over for the day.
Yeah. She was not excited about the deal I made with this guy about
And having this 2 weeks to reflect back on it now and knowing everything that occurred, I think, well, we didn't talk about, sorry, you're probably getting to this, but I didn't really think anything of it. I thought he was a weird, eccentric, not very reliable dude as far as getting the money to you, but that wasn't really your concern
yeah,
so much as getting rid of it.
Yeah, I didn't care about the money very much.
But I didn't get a bad vibe from him.
No. The mistake I made was the fact that I let him take the car when we couldn't find the title. We couldn't find the title of the car.
We should say after the mics went down, when Alvina had come home and was probably already perturbed about the pot smell, which isn't a problem anymore, holler. But then you made mention of the deal that you potentially struck with this guy at this point, and she thought it was the worst idea in the world. Like, she made it clear that it was dumb, especially after, like, you know, I think did I talk about, it doesn't matter.
This is one of the few times when, like,
Alvina's been right.
She was like, I don't want to do this, and I really put my foot down. I was like, stop it. No, it's fine. What a bad thing to blow up in my face. Because, okay, we couldn't find the title, and I let him take the car. The car wasn't running. Literally the next day, he comes knocking on the door, and he's in the car. He's driving the car. He's got it running. He switched over the motors, and now it's running. So now I'm more jealous than anything.
That was my car.
And I'm like,
I've got nothing from you yet.
And I'm like, well, we haven't been able to find the title. And he's like, well, we can go down to Ray's Thriftway, and as long as she's there, since the car and hers is in her name, we can just get it put in my name there.
Right.
And I'm like, great. When can we do that? Well, it's going to cost him $50 to put it in his name, and of course, he doesn't have the money. So
He says he's a mechanic. Is he an unemployed mechanic, I got to assume?
Correct.
Okay.
So I even asked him, because I think you mentioned in the first chunk about the body of his other Dodge Intrepid being damaged because he was on medication and
I'm sure I must have brought that up.
Yeah.
I was eager to bring that information to the show, in fact.
So I made a comment like that. I was like, well, just don't run into any guardrails before it's in your name. Ha, ha, ha. And the guy doesn't have a great sense of humor, but whatever. It was, you know, it was like a joke, but it was also very serious. So he can't get the car in his name yet because he doesn't have the money. Then he calls me like on, I guess it was this last Wednesday, and he's like, well, I've got the money, and we can put it in my name. But I was doing something that night. I picked up a shift at work or something.
Or you just didn't want to go to Thriftway.
No, it wasn't that, because I want it in his name, but I didn't want Alvina to go without me, so I was like, let's do it Saturday. We'll pick you up 2:00 on Saturday. Oh, we were moving and shit that night. I was like 2:00 on Saturday. We'll do it all. Okay. So then he calls me the next day, Thursday, while I'm at work, and leaves me a voicemail that we need to talk and figure something out because the car got towed. And I'm like, you fucking
The car got towed.
idiot. The car got towed is what he said on the voicemail.
Okay.
And I'm like, you fucking idiot. I'm so mad. And I call him back, and well, some guy, totally not his fault, some guy ran him off the road, and he went deep into a ditch and couldn't get it out. So he had to call and get it towed. And I'm like, well, that's great, because the car is still in my wife's name.
How much of this are you actually saying? How angry are you?
I'm really angry. I'm not like being a dick to him on the phone.
I guess that's what I'm asking.
But I think he could hear how mad I was. There was one point where I was like, well, that means that the car's been towed and it's already been there for a whole day, and it's still in my wife's name, so that bill's going to my wife. And he's like, well, actually, no, because what I'm saying is that I borrowed the money and we can go put the car in my name. And now I still don't know exactly how it works, but I'm like, it just seems that, like, since it's in my wife's name now, that debt isn't just going to transfer over. Like, it's on the books that we owe that money.
Right.
We don't know how much money it is or anything at that point. So I end up just going like, okay, well, I'm going to have my wife call you when I'm at work. I can't do anything. I'm going to have my wife call you when she gets off of work, and you guys are going to go get this in your name. And I was like, and I want them to tell us that we don't owe any of this money. Now, at this point, I'm telling Alvina, I'm like, if it's like $200 to get the car out of the tow yard, just pay the $200 and we'll keep the car, because he's got it running again. So it's like we paid $200.
Yeah, but you don't know how much ditch damage there is, do you?
No, I don't. But I was like, if the car's not totaled or anything like that, and he told me on the phone it's not totaled, it still runs. He just couldn't get it out, but it still runs, and he couldn't pay the tow guy, so they impounded it.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, just pay it. It turns out it's a lot more money than that, more money than we're willing to pay. So she goes to pick him up that day, take him down, get the car put in his name.
Maybe punch him in the face on the way.
So she's in line with him at Ray's Thriftway.
Holy shit, I haven't heard any of this shit.
They go up to change the title over, and the lady goes, okay, I'll need a valid Washington State ID from both of you.
Oh,
and
God.
he goes, shit, like that.
You're kidding me.
He's got an expired ID. She won't take it, and he's arguing with her, the lady, for not taking it. And my wife's having to be there. But my wife won't just sit there and listen to it. She's like, hey, stop. What are you... Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to change. You don't have a driver's license? And he's like, well, I do, but it's in the car. So hopefully he's not lying about that. It's in the car.
So we still don't know. I'm guessing he's lying.
So
our listener is guessing
at the tow
he's
yard,
lying.
At the tow yard, which is already closed. And this was Friday. So they can't do anything over the weekend. So now the car is going to sit there until Monday, until what is now tomorrow. So tomorrow, on my wife's lunch break, she has to go to the tow yard and pick up his driver's license, and then go back to work, and then after work go pick him up, go down to Ray's Thriftway, and get the car put in his name, and hopefully the debt. And she's going to ask the tow company, like, when we do this, can we make, I want to know for sure, is this going to be all in his name? I'm going to be.
He skipped town, dude. He skipped town.
I saw him today. We saw him.
Yeah, you did.
By him. But I'm just so mad. And then in the midst of all that shit earlier, which we talked about on a previous episode, of this taco truck and it taking forever and me being in a bad mood because I had so much to do that day, we go back to the old apartment to move the last of the shit out of there, and I check the mail, and what do we have but an invoice from the impound lot where the fucking car is, saying that Alvina owes, and this is a total and counting with every day, $333 for the tow back to the impound lot. Who knows how far fucking out this guy was. The impound lot's in Union Gap, but $45 a day on top of it. So...
And we know this guy's got the scratch, right?
Right.
He can pull it right together.
That's the other thing. It's like, really? He's like, well, even if it is in your name, I'll cover all the costs to get it taken out. Okay.
He had to borrow that $50 to go to Thriftway,
like,
and then didn't even have proper ID.
Yeah, this is what makes me mad. Like, he just fucking says things without being able to
That guy
back
lives
them up.
life this way.
But
until he offs himself.
Alvina told him, so we're going to go. We're going to get the car put in your name. You're going to have all the debt from it, and before you take it out of the impound lot, you're going to give us the money for the car, right? And he's like, oh, yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah. But then again,
there's going to have to be another follow-up.
He'll never get it out of the impound lot.
No.
He'll never. I mean, it's already over $500.
Yeah.
It's been in there since Wednesday, and today's Sunday, and it's $45 a day. He'll never get it in there. But tomorrow being the 1st, supposedly it's all going to get put in his name, and we're going to get the fucking money for the car. So tomorrow could really end up going well.
I don't think the odds are good.
If it turns out that we don't
I
have
think
to pay
he
any
either
money.
doesn't show up, or when the license isn't in the car at the impound lot, he'll have made up some other lie that's going to extend it further, and you guys are going to be fucked. And it was our bad judgment, mainly yours, but
Yeah, I mean, it just couldn't have gone worse, really.
no, it couldn't have.
Especially if we are on the hook. Because
And we started it 2 weeks ago, just that little piece of episode we got to record.
yeah,
What a kooky character this is.
Yeah.
And then he ended up like being a huge inconvenient part of your last 2 weeks.
oh my God, like yeah, and he's just keeping me tied to that neighborhood I just moved out of.
Yeah.
Like so fucking annoying. But yeah, I mean, if we go there and they're like, no, I'm sorry, if it's because we can't get it put in his name or because they just won't transfer the debt, I mean, we're going to have to sit there and pay it right then and there. So I might end up, because I can't keep it going $45 every day,
No.
we've got to pay for it immediately. So I might have my car back, but it's not going to be worth however much money we have to pay to get it back. And then we're going to be fucking piss broke when we just moved into a new place that's like twice as much rent as our old place. Like, it's
Because
the
this can't-
worst timing.
And all because this guy can't not drive on medication.
Yeah.
That's what I'm taking away.
He just couldn't avoid putting the car in a ditch for less than just until we could get the car in his name. Like you can't just not.
And
wreck
you have
the
not
car.
gotten a single dollar from this dude yet. Is that correct?
No, like I told you the other day, selling this guy my car is going to cost me hundreds of dollars.
Yeah. Well,
Such a fucking. And what are you going to do? Sue the guy in small claims court? Oh my God, this guy has no money.
Clearly. Probably no friends either, that dude. I'm sure he's fucked over every friend he ever had.
And that's the thing too, is when he talks to me, it's very much like, without saying it, like I'm a man of honor and stuff like that. Well, buddy, just prove it just once. I've known
He's
you,
going to prove it he has his chance tomorrow.
I've known you for a long fucking time now. God, I should really just be like, if I have to pay that $600, don't tell me you're gonna fucking pay me back and you're gonna make payments and all this shit.
Yeah, at least make a scene of it.
Yeah, how about for the payment, you just let me beat the fucking shit out of you. Let me punch you 600 times and don't fight back because I don't want you to fight back. And then fucking we'll just call it quits after that.
I think you got that guy.
He's a little guy.
You should also wear your Pac-Man outfit when you beat him up.
How does he sleep at night? Like, how is he
I
slept
don't think
in
that
the
guy
last
has
couple
a
of-
problem sleeping. He's
I don't think he does either, and I don't think he had a problem making that phone. If I put a
sleeping on his friend's couch or his former friend's couch that he stole.
right, if I was him and I talked to some guy into let me take the car and I can't even pay you for it yet and blah blah blah, and the other guy's desperate enough to just be like, yeah, whatever, just get it out of my life, and then I put it in a ditch and I had to call him and tell him that he now owes hundreds of dollars somewhere and I can't pay him, like. I couldn't make that. I would leave town. I would. No matter how inconvenient it was for me, I would leave town.
Change identities.
Yeah.
Start a new wife and child.
Fight. It must have been a happy time. It must